Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mika Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban, and I'm the noob. R.
All right, noob R.
Noobar?
Or noobar?
That's a place, that's an app to get, relationships with people that like anime and stuff.
Okay.
But they're new to it. Swipe right on Caliban.
I was picturing it like a kind of bar.
What if
like
you opened
dessert,
a bar? Oh.
Like a new bar, like maybe it's like a Fig Newton bar or something like that.
Well, this a dessert
Yeah.
Fig Newton bar.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass. Soft pass. I thought like new bar would be open a new establishment, but you're lazy about names, or it's like cool, so you're like, yeah, it's a new bar. Where are you going? A new bar.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I guess I'll see you there.
Right.
I don't know.
Right, like there's a bar in town called the Library.
New bar closes.
Right.
What was it
Right.
called? Dumb name cited.
New bar is no more.
All right.
We're a couple of magical people ready to moon prison power make up this episode. Sailor Noob is brought to you by lovers posing as siblings.
There's another website, popular website, if you're interested in lovers posing as siblings.
Oh, boy.
But this is Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
I have a lot. This is an episode of questions for me.
Okay.
Okay?
Go for it.
It's a whole new dawn. A giant golden R rises over the horizon with a soundtrack by someone with a head injury. And it wants to get right back into it, but this is kind of like a repiloting of sorts. Like we're starting over.
Yeah,
in more ways than one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sat down to try and enjoy this episode, and I find myself going, yeah, but okay, right, but don't they, what?
Yeah. There's a lot to cover. Do you want to
just get right into
get
it then?
to some of your questions now?
No, I mean, like, you can answer all my questions whenever, but since we literally have a new intro, I just thought that we would stop and talk about, Sailor Moon R.
Well, let's talk about Sailor Moon R.
It's a fresh new intro.
And
it's got Superman letters.
Yeah.
Does anybody born after 1987 know what I'm talking about?
Maybe you should tell everybody what you're talking about.
The original Superman, the Richard Donner film, with music by John Williams, this little, that kid's going to make good someday. The letters come in and they go, so they invented this, I don't know if it's an optical effect, or it must be an optical effect.
Uh-huh.
But they fly. You will believe letters can fly. And I remember that, as a kid, I can't control what I can watch or do. But whenever Superman was on, my folks knew that I loved Superman. And so they would scan the TV guide listings and it would be on. It's like, okay, sit you down. And you smell the popcorn. They turn the gigantic tube TV on.
Yeah.
With the switch on the box.
Right.
No remote. It's like the Flintstones. let's try to obfuscate exactly how old I am. And then this movie I love from 1978.
And then there was somebody inside the box being Superman, like in the Flintstones,
okay.
Right?
A little too far.
Okay.
No, the Flintstones had radio waves and television waves and tubes, and nobody knows how.
Oh, okay.
I got a theory about the Flintstones and the Jetsons, but it's not for this show. So the letters fly in, and it takes like 10 minutes. The credits are way too long. But that was, when you see those boring flying letters, you're in for something good.
Sure.
So you're going to see, you're going to see, Marlon Brando just wandering around a bunch of crystals, and we're in for something good.
So did you feel a little bit of that?
No.
Watching Sailor Moon R?
No. I like the Superman R. What do you really do? How do you open up a new season of Sailor Moon, especially without... they were thinking about spoiling things in the first one where, the first one is, it's a blimp and some flowers. And then later on, it's like, whoa, Mercury, Venus, Mars.
Right.
So maybe they'll change later on. But at this point, it's just more pictures, more Sailor Moon, more Usagi walking around. I mean, the
Right.
only thing that I felt like I really got out of it was there's the particular scene where she's looking despondent. She leans against a window, and on one side is her and her reflection is Sailor Moon, but she's Usagi.
Yes.
A theme that we've explored before and gets explored in this episode for sure.
Yeah. That's definitely an image that I remember pretty well. That's burned in my brain from watching this, when I originally watched it when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So I think you do see a lot of images too of like the sailors, like of the girls in their civilian selves, and then like compared to them being senshi and like their senshi uniforms. And like, I mean, that's kind of like a superhero theme that you see a lot too.
Well, they're just introducing. I mean, I don't know why you would start with Sailor Moon R, but it's just saying this person is this person and this person. There's a brooch.
Yes.
There's a brooch with the alchemical symbols for the sailors on it, and I don't know what that means.
I can't say anything.
Oh, good.
So
you have learned your lesson well. And otherwise, I mean that's about it. It's new wallpaper. It's nice.
It is nice.
I kind of miss the old wallpaper, but I'll probably get used to the new wallpaper.
Yeah.
My review of every season of Sailor Moon after the first.
Right. It's still Moonlight Densetsu. The song is still the same.
Yeah, and she's still 14. And I have questions now. How can she be 14 still? Even if they started the first episode running out the door, toast in mouth, she's 14 years old. They go through an entire school year, mostly, because they went through winter back to, this might be spring, although we're told it's 2 months later. How could she possibly be 14 still?
Do
Japanese birthdays work different?
No.
First question.
No, they do not. Answer.
Okay.
They do not.
I wasted a question.
Do you remember when we talked about at the end of season 1, the one of the directors of the anime had talked about how the girls are basically reincarnated, but what they meant is,
oh man, she's never going to be able to drink.
Well, that like they've I'm trying to word this in a way that it's not going to like spoil anything.
Well, you don't have to say anything if you just feel you can't say anything. That's the tension on this show. There's a lot of tension on this show. One of the great tensions on this show is when is Cal going to get spoiled by his co-host?
Is this a spoiler to basically say...
you know what a good way to test it is? To say it.
Well, I guess we'll find out in the future. Why don't you give us a recap?
Fine. Let's see here. What strange occurrence could begin this new season of Sailor... Nope, she's just late for school. Yeah, she's just running out of the house. Toast in mouth, promptly trips and falls on her face. Shingo appears, says, "You forgot your bag, crybaby." But Usagi is like, "I don't have time to get into it with you." She runs off to school. From a roof, Luna and Artemis watch her go. Here's a question.
Yeah.
I guess Luna is just pretending to be a normal cat now?
Yep. That is correct.
Big pile of rainbow food, she's fine. She doesn't care. So
I think she cares.
She's just going to do that.
Yeah.
Luna tells Artemis, she's telling us though, that it's been 2 months, since the Guardians defeated Beryl and lost their memories of being Sailor Guardians.
Yep.
I still don't understand how long the school year is, but we've gone over that. Artie says, Luna, maybe it's time that we settle down. And what?
Yeah.
And Luna's like, no. What would Rhett Butler think?
I don't think she's thinking about Rhett, but yeah, sure.
And that's just the teaser. Which I have to say that the show's getting a lot better at that.
Doing like a tease at the beginning.
Now that I think about it, do anime shows have teasers, like episodes? Because they're using these perfectly. It's especially this episode. You're coming back, you turn it on. What's it going to be?
Right.
And Usagi runs out of her house, and we got a bog standard, typical season 1 opening.
Right.
And you're like, wait a minute, what?
Why is this
happening? And then the cats come in at the end and go, oh no, it's a little different.
Right.
And then smash cut into the title card, and we begin the episode.
Right.
It's really good.
No, it is good. Yeah.
Except for the fact that as soon as we open, Usagi's in school and she's in trouble.
I know.
Miss Haruna's yelling at her. She's standing outside the class with a bucket on her head. She's in trouble. She's on the outs with Miss Haruna.
Yeah.
Another question. You get in trouble in a Japanese school, you have to wear a bucket of water on your head?
I think this is extreme.
This would be an entirely different breakfast club. It's just five kids from different backgrounds. Water buckets on their head.
On their heads.
You spill that water, you get the horns.
Yeah, right.
Confusing. Ami emerges from another classroom and she says, "Oh no, did you get in trouble again?" And Usagi's like, "You're that girl genius. Wow, you're a lot nicer than Miss Haruna." Speak of the devil, Miss Haruna comes out, busts out, and says, "Miss Mizuno, no good will come from hanging around with Miss Sakino." And Usagi's like, "Hey, you can't talk to me like that." And whoops, spills the bucket all over Miss Haruna.
Yep.
This school is tense. This is just like an episode of Euphoria that I saw.
Oh my goodness. But it's like, what happens next? Does she have to stand with another bucket on top of her head?
A knife fight.
Yeah.
But like a strap match. They tie one wrist together, the other wrist knife. That night, Usagi is dreaming of food. Again, just business as usual.
Yep.
When a bright light shines through her bedroom windows, outside we see a comet-like object streaking through the sky, and it crashes. It impacts into an empty intersection on the street. We see the object in its crater, and it's weirdly glowing. And it looks like some kind of pod, some kind of like pod. The pod rises up out of the crater and it flies across town, and it seems like it's looking in the windows of an empty apartment before it flashes again with a bright light. Back at the crater, same night, many of the inhabitants of Azubujuban are gathered around the edge of the crater, including Rei and Minako. We see the cats watching as well from a rooftop, and they're concerned. And Ami appears next to Usagi and says hello. Makoto also bumps into Usagi from behind. And Usagi's like, "Whoa, you're the hefty girl who transferred to our school." Makoto's like, "Hefty? What?"
I know! I'm like, watch it.
Usagi remarks that this feels familiar, that they're all together.
Uh-huh.
So were they together and they forgot? Or were they never together? Like, what does being reincarnated mean? Like, was everybody's memories erased of everything that happened, but the time still went? I mean, she does have a cat. Pictures. Find family pictures. So her dad. No, the camera roll was broken. That's not going to work.
Right.
The newspaper.
Uh-huh.
Go find the 70s journo, the Dennis Hopper chick.
So
get that newspaper. Get a reprint of the newspaper with the Sailor Scouts in it. It must exist still. Or is that all the snap?
I think it's like, I don't know how much I can say.
Okay, all right. It's all redacted.
It's like
Nick Fury over here.
It's like no, it's not like the snap, because in the snap, some people are gone and some people remain.
Yeah, okay, all right.
So it's not like
but
that.
But you can snap anything. We got a new resolution for Sailor Moon R. We don't talk about Thanos anymore.
Okay.
We're done with that. But I'm just saying, like, the memory of the events and their memories of each other,
those are all
were
gone.
all removed.
Yes.
But everything was left to maintain that she had a cat still. She didn't forget the very few things that she learned
right
in her year at Azabu Junior.
Well, it's very hazy.
Okay.
It's very hazy.
Well, I mean, I'm cool with hazy, but
okay.
The questions are going to keep coming.
Yeah,
though.
that's fine.
As Usagi is thinking about this, she's contemplating it. She's really thinking about it. She looks down. She sees a flyer for sweets, 80% off.
Yeah, I know.
This is literally a Simpsons joke. Although it's 1993 at this point in Japan, so I'm not exactly sure when that Simpsons episode was. But,
yeah, I don't know.
Chocolate, half off. A voice says, "If you keep eating sweets, your whole body's going to look like a bun."
Yeah.
I'm an asshole.
I know, right?
It's Mamoru. Has anything really changed?
Yeah.
Anything at all?
Not really.
Well, the answer is yes, because across town, two green-skinned weirdos are hanging out on a balcony.
Yeah.
And they're talking about all the energy this planet has to offer. And they look like if Link and Zelda came from the planet Namek.
What is the planet Namek?
That's where Piccolo's from.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
And fittingly, the guy, name of Ale,
Yeah.
has a flute that he plays, just like Link.
Uh-huh.
But before he does, he tells the girl, Anne, that she's beautiful. And he says he wants to be like Perseus, who loved Andromeda.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, here's Wonderwall. Do they have Greek myths on their planet?
Apparently they do.
Okay.
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay. All right. I'll expect to see some more mythic illusions then as we go.
Yeah, right.
The next day at school, the students at Juban Jr. are introduced to their new classmates, Sejiro and Natsumi Ginga.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who they are?
Yeah, right.
Usagi and Naru are going gaga over Ginga, Sejiro, and Yumino thinks that their names sound made up.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to this, man. Listen to him.
Nobody wants to trust Umino.
No, never. Meanwhile, in class, Natsumi is enjoying the attention of all the boys. They ask her if she's lived overseas, and she says, yes, in English.
Yeah.
So they're like, whoa, you speak English? Say more in English. And she's like, peta, 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 peta. And everybody's like, what?
I know. Which is a good joke, I think.
Not cool, Natsumi. That's racist.
You think so? It's gibberish.
Yeah, right. These idiots will buy anything. We hear from outside the tones of Ale's flute melody again, and all the girls are digging it. But Anne calls it a bad habit of his. Ale, or Sejiro, I guess,
right.
sees Usagi while he's playing the flute in the halls, and he says, the girl of my dreams, my Andromeda, let me play you the song of my heart. Mm-hmm. It's called Galaxy Fantasy Impromptu Opus 5, The Miracle of Lovely Andromeda. But before he can start, Anne appears as Natsumi. This is gonna be, maybe we should just stick to Ale and Anne.
Yeah, right.
And is like, hey, knock it off, stop that. And on their way home, they are having a fight about this, apparently. He says that she has to remember that they're siblings when they're at school, like the director says, and she's mad that he's always looking at other girls. Mm-hmm. To be another video. And just then, she spots Mamoru Chiba.
I know.
She turns to follow him, and Ale's like, so anyway, where'd she go? And she is following Mamoru, but as she is, she's gripped by some force, and she collapses, saying that she needs energy.
Yeah.
That night at Usagi's house, she's in bed, and she's talking to Naru on the phone, and Naru's like, whoa, Sejiro was really into you. And Usagi's like, oh man, it's a curse to be this cute.
I know.
And Luna probably has some choice zingers, but you gotta hold them back, because cats don't talk.
That's right.
Across town at Juban, Odessia, which is an apartment building, and here are those mythic references,
right?
Yeah, the Odyssey. I think I get now that the apartment that the pod was looking at is this one. They were house shopping.
Yeah. Is this one vacant?
They're like, yeah, pretty good. Ale's playing the melody again. He's in the back room. The back room is space. We see him sitting on the root of what looks like a great giant tree floating in a void. Let's see. Yeah. 2 bed, 2 bath, 10 billion square feet, utilities paid.
Yeah, right.
He talks about the joy and worry he feels traveling through the galaxy, and as he plays, a vine emerges from the tree and exudes a pearl of liquid which drops on the prone form of Anne, and she glows with energy. Mm-hmm. Then we get new commercial bumpers.
Yes.
Chibi Sailor Scouts.
Yes.
And a montage of the sailors coming in when we come back.
Yes. That's fun. They say Sailor Moon R.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And they pronounce R.
Odd.
They have to make it like 3 syllables to get it right.
Yeah,
right. But they do. It's gutsy. Gutsy to name it Sailor Moon R. My hat's off to you. I think you nailed it. We come back to the earlier scene. Anne is now charged up. She's feeling fine. The vine, however, shrivels, and some of the leaves of the tree wither. And Ale says that they are running low on life energy. Anne says this planet has a lot of energy to sustain them. And we see these pictures that come up of butterflies, animals, people in a dance club, the 3 highest energetic forms of life. Yeah. Ale produces a hand of green metallic cards, and he tells Anne to select a cardigan, not a cardigan, a cardigan for them. It might be cold on the mission, but We're going to pick a Cardigan.
Yeah.
And he says that her ability to see the future is the sharpest in the universe. But Urawa knew he was going to say that.
He's going to just pop in and be like, I knew you were going to say that.
She picks a card depicting a flowery being, and Ale says that flowers are beautiful but short-lived. Anne says that young girls in love have a powerful energy. And Ale is like, but not boys? But that doesn't get explored now, does it?
No, it does not,
just drop it.
unfortunately.
And I was like, whoa, that's one of my questions.
Yeah, right?
So we're just going after girls this time. Ale plays a tune and summons their Cardigan, Vampire.
Yes.
And yes, Vampire screams her own name.
Of course she does.
Getting right to it in a dark alleyway, we see the silhouette of Vampire draining the energy of a young woman. And Luna and Artie discover the fallen girl.
Yes.
And Artie's like, all right, so we're going to bring the sailors back, right? But Luna's like, she's kind of hesitant. We hear another scream. Better get those sailors.
Yeah, right?
And Vampire claims another victim. Are these girls even in love? Can Vampire, like, smell love?
That is a fantastic question, actually.
It's a romantic Tokyo, this Tokyo. So maybe they're all in love. All of this is happening right under Naru's window. So she's like,
right.
What's going on? Ah!
Yeah.
Vampire leaps up to Naru's room and uses the stamen of her flower hand to do the deed.
Yeah.
Usagi hears all of this on the other end of the phone, of course. Plot point, the cats jump in through the window, and Luna, realizing that they're in Naru's house, says, I gotta say, that girl sure gets her energy sucked a lot.
Which is honestly a fantastic point and a great line at the same time. Like, that's a Luna zinger.
I love it when this show is self-aware.
Yeah, yeah.
The cats attack, but we've seen this before. They're not exactly fighters. Just then, Usagi and Naru's old-timey pajama mom bust in. And they take in the scene.
Yes.
Usagi is convinced to dream. Mom passes out on cue.
Yep.
Luna yells, "Get out of here, Usagi!" And Usagi says, "How can you talk, Luna?" How did she know her name was Luna? Is that one of those like bits of information that she kept?
That must have been.
Or she had a collar?
Or she had a collar.
Like, what's that cat's name again?
Right,
Oh,
right. Luna, right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, show.
We're not tracking everything here.
Usagi says, "Oh, yeah, this is all a dream. So if I'm in a dream, I'm the most powerful person. Hey, monster, let Naru go or I'll punish you." I'll punish you? Why did I say that?
Yeah, right.
Vampire is done playing around. She wraps Usagi in her tentacles and she starts draining the life from her. Artie, in a clutch move, leaps to Vampire's face and goes full scratching post on it, making her drop Usagi. Artie says, "Come get this," and jumps out of the window. Vampire follows with a vampire.
Yeah.
Usagi's pretty out of it, but Luna decides she has no choice but to reawaken Usagi. She shoots a beam from her head moon into Usagi's head. It makes sense when you see it.
Yep.
And Usagi sees everything. Her final fight with Beryl, the death of Endymion and the sailors. She tries to resist. She wants to be an ordinary girl. Mm-hmm. But in the end, there was never a choice.
Yes.
Her memory has returned, and she looks maybe just that much sadder now.
Just a little bit, yeah.
She calls, "Moon Prism Power, make up!" and transforms once again into Sailor Moon. Mm-hmm. On the street, Artie gonna get beat. Vampire wraps Artemis in her tentacles and begins draining him of energy. But from atop a building we hear, "Monster! I was finally able to be an ordinary girl. How dare you call me back to the battlefield without my permission? In the name of the moon, I'll punish you!" Mm-hmm. Vampire goes all out to try to catch Sailor Moon in her tentacles. Sailor Moon's dodging left and right, but her legs are ensnared by Vampire, who begins draining her energy. And it's funny, we get a lot of like emotional tonality, some highs and lows from Vampire's performance. I think the voice actress is having a little fun.
More on that later.
Oh, okay. I'm glad I picked up on something. When Usagi falls down, she's like, "Vampire." And then when she's like draining the energy, she's like, "Vampire." Ooh, feels good. Well, anyway, a mouth opens on Vampire's flower hand, and it begins to shoot down the length of Vampire's tentacles towards Usagi, who is struggling to reach her tiara. The razor-sharp teeth of the flower are drawing near when Luna jumps up and bites the fire out of Vampire's arm, making her drop Usagi. And Usagi's like, "Let's see if I remember how to do this. Moon tiara action." We get a vampire and a cleansing.
Yes.
Weird.
Cleansing now. Yeah.
Vampire returns to her card form, falls to the pavement, and starts smoking. Not like parliaments, but black smoke shoots out of the card.
Right. The card is toast.
Well, she did get pretty satisfied before, so... It's Sailor Moon R. It's going to be a little more adult from here on out, I guess. In her room, Naru begins to awaken, so we know she's alive, although nobody will talk to her.
Yeah, right.
Nobody talks to her. Nobody
checks on her.
Nobody tries to explain why the window of her room is busted outward.
Yeah, right.
Mom broke her neck when she fell. Yeah, but she's okay. She's awake. Usagi is like, well, that's that. Crepes. But a voice calls from the night, Sailor Moon, is it? I'm Ale, nomad noble of the universe, and she's on. We're just making friends today. We'll be back.
Yeah.
But Sailor Moon barely even hears them as she looks to the night sky and says, bye-bye, my ordinary life.
Yeah.
And new closing song!
Yeah, and new closing song.
Called Maiden's Policy, which I think we can figure out what a maiden's policy is. Under the shirt, over the bra.
Whoa, that is not what's going on here,
okay,
buddy.
I don't know. We'll have to maybe look at the lyrics of the...
I can tell you the lyrics if you want.
Can you summarize them?
Well, I mean, it's basically talking about, like, what you're doing as a girl, the lovely maiden's policy. If it's important for a person I will someday surely meet. Basically, you're saving your heart.
Yeah, see what I mean? I think I got it right.
Wow.
Is there a name for, this is going to just get written down on a notepad, but is there a name songs can do anything. They can be instructional. They can, you can WAP or whatever. But like, is there a name for these kind of Japanese songs that we hear all the time that are like saying, hey, X, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this.
I don't know.
That.
I don't know. That's a really good
because it's kind of like, what's it called again when the character has a song that they sing? It's their something song.
Oh, gosh. You
do it to me all the time. That's how it feels. That's how it feels when someone does that.
Gosh, I don't remember.
Okay, well, anyway, it just feels like, that kind of song.
It's like their character song, but it's called something different, and I don't remember what it's
their
called.
Heart song.
Yeah, right. Some of the lyrics for this song: I'm waiting for many more dreadful things to happen that will surely be a chance to flap my wings gracefully, because everyone is beautiful when they are serious. With faith in myself, I will go clearing ahead. The unknown power that is sleeping now will someday burst outside. I will be what it is I want to be. Those who persevere are much better. From time to time, I may shed a tear, but I will still go on bravely.
Second base only.
Wow.
That makes sense.
No.
That's a good choice. And as far as the melody goes, it'll grow on me.
Yeah.
Didn't set me on fire when I listened to it, but
okay.
I'm sure it'll grow on me.
Okay. It's performed by singer Yoko Ishida, who is a Japanese singer who is best known for singing several anime theme songs, including Priere, Ayori Aoshi, and the Ah My Goddess theme song as well.
Oh.
As well as Strike Witches.
Strike Witches.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
They'd have the best chance, though, wouldn't they? Boil, toil and trouble. Better pay here on the double. Strike Witches. Just fall on CBS.
Yeah, and the Deke dub's kind of boring because it is basically what they did with the Sailor Moon R themes is they had an English language version of the Japanese opening theme. So it's like a English version of Moonlight Densetsu, just different words.
Is this like fighting evil?
Fighting evil by moonlight. Yeah. And
trying to make the meter fit the words.
Right, exactly. And they use that for both the opening and the ending theme.
That's, maximum effort. This is sarcastic maximum effort.
I know. It's like, guys, come on. You could have tried a little bit more than that.
I liked it. You're going to find out how much connected to a number in a little bit, but I I like that they are continuing this theme of refusing the call, wanting to be ordinary, not being able to split your life, wanting to enjoy a real life. I swear to God, I did a Google search in preparation to do a Sailor Moon version of, the costume in the trash can walking down the alleyway, Sailor Moon no more, like Spider-Man, but it was too much work and I haven't gone back to it. I forgot about it. But that's what it reminds me of.
That'd be a good meme though.
Yeah.
Or artist rendition or something
this
like
is,
that.
Well, we'll commission somebody. This is a character, much like a Peter Parker, as I've said over and over again, who is just a teenager, is just trying to have this life. And Nick Fury keeps coming. No, I don't know.
Well,
movie Spider-Man is a little different.
Luna's Nick Fury, I guess.
Kind of. But she also kind of lets Usagi do what she wants. And every time Nick Fury shows up, the world is literally about to end. So
that's true.
F your history homework. Whereas Spider-Man is just stopping. Like, isn't the FDIC insuring this bank? Who cares if, the looter steals $60,000 from it?
Right.
But, I didn't do anything that one time and something terrible happened.
Exactly. And he has to live with that. That's the hard thing to live with.
We're talking about Sailor Moon.
Yeah, we are.
Sailor Moon is often deep, but is not that rooted in pain. It's not like Naru died in the first episode because she didn't throw the tiara when she was told to.
That would have been really depressing.
Yeah, well.
I wonder how popular the show would have been if that had been the case.
Yeah, with great makeup comes great responsibility. And great fabulousness. How would you describe Just Enough Trope?
We are the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mika and Hannah.
Oh no, does this mean they can hear all the things I yell at the TV during Downton Abbey?
Why did you do that?
How do you plead?
Let the game begin. Yeah, check these fresh moves. Oh!
Don't shoot man in face.
This isn't the Save Gotham fundraiser.
It's the Chill Family Reunion.
Master Yoda assigned a Padawan to this bold Jedi.
I believe it's pronounced Padawan.
Oh, Padawan, excuse me.
Hey, it's getting late. I think Ralph's going to want his motorcycle back.
Go jerk off the pictures of Dean Gray.
I am freaking getting old.
Yeah, I noticed the life clock was blinking in your hand.
Get out of here, Wilson. Go fight the Teen Titans or something.
I'm unkillable, not unwoundable.
You like Sailor Moon, right? Why don't you sail on his
Oh, wow.
Just Enough Trope. News, reviews, and geek fondue. Every Monday on the Just Enough Trope Podcast Network.
Loving me never have a say. You so be sorry.
What?
I thought that we could take some time to talk about Sailor Moon R and what the heck does that R mean?
Sailor Moon, are you?
R.
Yes.
I keep thinking of, I don't know, prepping for the show, I kept thinking of the whole cast of Sailor Moon dressed as pirates and being like, Sailor Moon R. That's what I kept thinking about.
That's the height of comedy.
I know.
I can't believe they haven't gone to a pirate-themed restaurant or something for one episode.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll see that happen later. I don't know.
Oh, spoilers.
I don't know. So what does the R stand for in Sailor Moon R? This is something that is passionately debated among fans.
This is going to be written on the back of the Declaration of Independence or something, isn't it?
Well, maybe.
Nobody's
going to
know the answer to this.
Yeah, right. One theory is that it stands for romance. Other popular contenders are return, since it is the second season, and perhaps also because it marks the return of Sailor Moon and the Senshi.
Episode's called Moon Returns.
Yes. Rabbit after Usagi. Remake, since the Senshi were reincarnated.
Reincarnation.
Yeah, right? I haven't heard that one, but...
just right there.
Right? Rose... I don't know, because of Tuxedo Mask, maybe. And Ribbon is another possibility for some reason, but I have absolutely no idea why that last one. One compelling piece of evidence for the return speculation is that on the Japanese TV game show Quiz Hint de Pint, which I think it's like Hinto de Pinto, like the name of which is a play on words, since hint is pronounced Hinto and Pinto means to come into focus or to understand something. So basically the name means quiz, semicolon, get it with a hint. Which, yeah.
Hey, I'll be right back. I got a Hinto the Pinto. You know what I mean?
I know. Which is also broadcast on TV Asahi, which was the same station that Sailor Moon was broadcast on.
What does that have to do with the cartoon?
I'll get to in a minute. The host, Masaru Doi, read the title of Sailor Moon R as Sailor Moon Return in the episode that originally aired on July 25th, 1993. Sailor Moon R began to air on March 6, 1993. So this is after it's already been airing, but so that's one of our biggest clues as to what it could mean. According to the booklet from the Sailor Moon Memorial Songbox, which was a CD compilation, which came out in 1997, so musical stuff, the letter R and this is according to the booklet, the letter R stands for the words romance, return, or rose. So it said those three words with the or in it. So no definitive answer.
Yukio, Yamio.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Rozo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't know why they named their show that, I mean, I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
Do the Japanese not sequel number titles? Move those words around and it makes sense.
Like put numbers in
Sailor
there?
Moon 2.
I guess they decided, I don't know what the reasoning is. That's the thing, right? They wanted to differentiate them, but I guess they didn't want to do numbers. So they went with letters.
B?
They're like, R could mean so many things. Let's just let the fans try to figure it out.
Sailor Moon UFO.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
The Moon Files.
The Moon Files. Is it Usagi and Mamoru? Like, who is it?
I could see that, except Usagi would be the Mulder character.
Yeah,
and
right.
Mamoru would be the Scully character.
Yeah. I mean, that could work. Or do we use like lesser known characters? Would it be like Umino and Naru?
Daggett and Reyes? What?
No, like Umino and Naru are the Mulder.
Yeah, let's give them something to do. Sure.
Yeah.
Actually, they fit it a lot better.
Yeah. She's got red hair too. For Kero Miro, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, today we're going to be talking about UFOs or UFOlogy in Japan. So tales of UFOs actually go way back. So we're going to start out with the first tale of a UFO in Japan.
Okay. I gotta chill.
Yeah, okay. Utsuro bune, or hollow ship in English, refers to an unknown object that supposedly washed ashore in 1803, which was during...
that's not that far back.
Oh, okay.
I thought this was going to be some, like, Heian period stuff. Where somebody was like, I dropped my sake cup because I saw a light in the sky.
Okay. It's not that far back, I guess. This
UFOs,
is Edo period, yeah.
Don't tell the UFOs. They can't hear this. It's on a wire. If it was in the air on the radio, it would be in trouble. UFOs are like the only thing that scare me.
Really?
The devil doesn't scare me. Lions don't scare me. Lions at the bank don't scare me. But like, I don't know what it is. I used to read like UFO books when I was a kid and nearly pee my pants when you turn the page and there'd just be some bad illustration of a little guy with gray, he's got a big head and he's got the eyes or whatever. Because they're just so weird. Yeah. And we literally can't know what they're thinking. I know a lion wants to eat me. I'm going to do what I can to keep that from happening. But like an alien consciousness, you don't know what they're thinking. Why are they here? You can't predict them. There's no mind to anticipate.
Right.
And they love Greek mythology.
We know this.
These are These are not scary to me, I'm saying, the aliens in this show, but that's fine.
Not the aliens in
But
this
tell
show.
me your creepy tale. I don't think
Well,
the X-Files ever made it out to Japan way.
I don't know how creepy it actually is, but we'll get to it. So it's during the Edo period, which again was 1603 to 1868. And when defining utsuro bune, utsuro means empty or hollow, while bune means boat. Accounts of the tale appear in 3 different texts. Toen Shotsetsu in 1825, Hyoru Kishu in 1835, and Ume no Chiri in 1844. According to the legend, a beautiful young woman aged 18 to 20 years old.
Okay, wait.
Very specific.
Where's this going? This is somebody's manga pitch.
Right. It could have been. Arrived on a local beach aboard the Hollow Ship on February 22nd, 1803. Fishermen brought her inland to examine her and her ship closer, but the woman spoke in a different language than Japanese, so they couldn't understand her, she couldn't understand them. The fishermen then returned her and her ship to the sea, where it drifted away. According to the legend, the ship's upper part seemed to be made of red-coated rosewood, while the lower part was covered with brazen plates. Probably, it was speculated this is probably...
So brazen.
Yeah, probably to protect it from like sharp rocks at the bottom of the ocean or what have you. The upper part had several windows that were made of crystal or glass that were completely transparent and covered with bars and clogged with some kind of tree resin. The shape of the utsuro bune was fairly spherical on both the bottom and the top of the ship. The inside of the utsuro bune was decorated with text written in an unknown, unrecognizable language. The fishermen found items inside such as 2 bed sheets, a bottle filled with 3.6 liters of water. This is very specific.
It sure is.
Some cake and kneaded... Some cake. And kneaded meat. What does that mean? Like ground meat, except it's like kneaded together or something like that?
Kneaded meat?
Yeah.
Like tenderized meat?
Maybe.
No, this would be there because it's a provision, right? So it's, I don't know.
I couldn't understand
That's
what that was.
the mystery for me.
Right.
That's where Mulder's like, it's a bathysphere. What's this kneaded meat, Scully?
And then they saw the beautiful woman who was 18 to 20 years old, and her body size was said to be 1.5 meters or 4.92 feet. Which is like so they're out there with measuring tape.
Her blood type was AB. It's like that.
Were they measuring against like fishing poles?
No, they had a tape. There's a literal UFO there, and they're like, "Oh, there's a girl. Oh, well, she's
how tall is she?
4 3/4 feet.
Yeah, right.
Ma'am, arms up.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird. The women had red hair and eyebrows. The hair appeared to be lengthened by artificial white extensions.
What?
This is what the recounting is said. The extensions could have been made of white fur or thin white powdered textile streaks. At the time of this supposed sighting, this hairstyle could not be found in any literature in Japan. The skin of the lady was a very pale pink color. She wore precious, long, and smooth clothes of unknown fabrics.
No fabric would weave like this.
Yeah, right. And then the woman began talking, but she, of course, did not speak their language. Yeah, right. Exactly. And although the enigmatic woman appeared friendly and polite, she acted peculiarly, for she always clasped a square box made of pale material, and the box was around 0.6 meters or 24 inches in size. I don't know. The women did not let anyone touch the box, no matter how nicely or pressingly the onlookers asked. And yeah, then
this is a USO, unidentified seagoing object.
Wow, yeah. Actually, there are people who have speculated that it is a USO. Yes.
I was just kidding.
Oh, that's a real thing.
Okay, well, I did read all those books when I was a kid.
Yeah, well, but Historians, ethnologists, and physicists have all evaluated the legend of the hollow boat and have determined it to be a part of Japanese folklore and not an actual historical event. Alternatively, certain ufologists have asserted that the story represents proof of an alien encounter. The first historical investigations of the utsuro bune occurrence were carried out in 1844, so pretty early on.
When Mr. UFO came to their shores, and he's like, hands him his tinfoil hat, and he's like, I'll take it from here, boys. And this is how you do it. First of all, you go start a club.
Yeah, I know, right? This guy's actually Japanese, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
By Kyokute Bakken, Kyokute reports about a book called Russia Bunkenroku, which translates to Records of Seen and Heard Things from Russia in English, written by Kanamori Kinken. The book chronicles traditional Russian clothes and hairstyles and refers to a popular Russian technique to dust hair with white powder. It also states that many Russian women have natural red hair and that they wear skirts similar to that of the woman of the legend. Based upon the book, Kyokute suggests that the women of the utsuro bune event could have been originally from Russia. Dr. Kazuo Tanaka, a Japanese professor of computer and electronic engineering from Gifu University at Tokyo, inspected the original scripts in 1997. He thought that the popular comparisons of the utsuro bune with the modern UFO sightings were doubtful. He points out that the utsuro bune never takes flight or moves on its own, nor does it show any indications of exceptional technologies. It simply floats motionless on the water.
A boat.
Right, exactly. Those who have studied the original texts about the utsuro bune believe that the tale of the strange European-looking woman, the upper part of the utsuro bune ship that had windows, otherwise circular boats were not something that were unusual at this time in Japan. It was just the windows that were unusual. And the unfamiliar writings have concluded that this tale largely comes from Japan being a closed country at the time and being afraid of negative cultural effects from the Western world, which kind of makes sense to me. But in ufology, the legend of utsuro bune has been called an early case of documented alien encounter, based on the similarities between the drawings of the ship from the Edo period and the 20th century elucidation of UFOs. They're similar in shape. Some ufologists propose that utsuro bune could have been an unidentified submarine object, which is the USO. So yes. They also talk about the writing and try to say that it's similar to writing found at the Rettlesheim Forest incident in England, which is sometimes referred to as Britain's Roswell.
A jolly good close encounter.
Yeah. So, and apparently that writing has been found in caves and there's strange figures by it. So they're like, clearly this is an alien encounter.
Clearly.
So yes.
See this picture behind you?
Yes, I do.
That's a bathysphere. Now
Yeah.
that's a relatively modern bathysphere, but I think it proves that you can have a round boat with windows on the top, and it's not.
And
it's based on 200, 300-year-old technology.
that's fairly similar to the images that were drawn.
What gets
for the
me
most part.
is that, and I mean, remember, we've got the eyewitnesses of sake drunk fishermen, but like,
Great.
the condition of the woman is suspicious or peculiar because she is not. You would assume that if she did float over from Russia on a Gulf Stream or something like that, not at the jet, like a
Right. Yeah,
a
I know
water
what you meant.
phenomenon, that she would be like starved, she would
Hungry.
be emaciated, she'd be like,
Out of
my
it.
God, peta. Like,
Yeah,
I
right.
made it, and like, but instead she's just like, yeah, don't touch my box. Yep.
Yeah.
Don't touch my box.
And then like the weird thing is,
maiden's plan.
yeah, one of the fishermen, like, this is in the a maiden's stop.
Or-
I got it. It took me a minute, but I got it.
Okay.
One of the fishermen speculated,
Oh,
well, oh my goodness, did he ever? He was like, well, what if she's a princess from a foreign land?
Yeah.
And what if, like, inside the box is the head of her executed lover, so that's why she doesn't want anybody to touch it? And I'm just like, whoa, buddy. You're just going off and making this whole story up.
We kept getting her to try to wash her face and blow her nose, see if anything came out, but no dice.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So utsuro bune are popular ideas in manga and anime. One such anime is Mononoke, which came out in 2007, which revolves around the tales told by a traveler known as the medicine seller.
Yeah.
And
there's a utsuro bune?
Yes.
I've watched most of that. I don't remember.
Well, here in episodes 3 through 5, the protagonist tells the story
they're on
of
the boat where the people know their desires or their sins or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tells the story of Umibozu, in which a sunken utsuro bune is a large part of the story. In the anime, the utsuro bune is depicted as a decorated, sealed, hollow tree trunk. And that holds the corpse of a young woman who had been sacrificed to sea demons.
Oh, sea demons.
I know.
I can see like a Junji Ito like manga with this.
Okay. Tell me more.
Besides aliens, he's the only thing that scares me.
Why does he scare you?
Because he's a horror mangaka. He does those like weird horrors with. He does some series, but he does a lot of one-offs. You know, like the one where they find a mountain with the shape of a person, like a Looney Tunes. Somebody hit the wall too fast.
Okay,
and they're like, "That's so weird." And then like one of the guys in the expedition is like, "I just really want to jump in there." And they're like, "No, don't do it." And then he jumps into it. And he's like slowly sucked through the mountain. And then they look on the other side of the mountain. And the other side of the mountain is the same figure, but it's all twisted and swirly and weird and too thin to be a person. And then like they wait a little while and out the other side comes, the guy comes out and he's that shape.
Oh my goodness, that's terrifying.
Well, it's not over.
Uh-oh.
If I remember the story correctly, they start to find other shapes, other holes in the mountain, and they find 6 billion shapes or whatever. There's a shape for every person on Earth.
Oh, I hate that.
I know, right?
I don't like that at all.
Think what he could do with a USO.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Junji Ito live at the USO.
Just like in the West, there was a rise in UFO interest and research in Japan in the 1950s and 1960s, kind of went along with a lot of the boom in UFO sightings that were kind of happening at the time.
Is there a Japanese Henry Hill? No, that was the guy from Goodfellas. Who are the Hills, right?
I don't know.
No, that's that reality show. There was a couple in one of these. Remember, these are books that I read in like 5th grade, but there was a couple. Barney Hill?
Okay.
No, that was a cop show, right?
That sounds kind of like something. That sounds like a character name. I just don't know.
Barney and Betty Hill.
Okay.
were cops. And no. They were this couple who claimed to be abducted, and it was one of like the earliest abduction story.
Oh.
The Hill abduction, it was called.
Okay.
And it was part of popular culture. It's
Sure.
like it happened in like the maybe early 60s, I think, but they made a TV movie out of it, and it became one of these like pillars that the UFO community kind of went around. The reason being is because their tale was crazy, but they always stuck to it.
Gotcha.
And it was always the same. Like they interviewed them separately, they hypnotized them. Barney didn't live very long, but Betty did, and they'd talk to her, and it was always the same. It never changed the story, and so they just seemed really believable.
Gotcha. I didn't come across a Japanese couple that is equivalent to that. No.
They have a lot of camera phones.
Yeah,
Any
sure.
video?
I'm sure there's a lot more stories these days. But I was going to talk. I've just mentioned somebody who was really popular back at the time.
They were an interracial couple too.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Just to say.
Okay, sure. I'm not exactly sure how to segue out of that, but
that's my job.
Okay. Somebody who was a famous writer after World War II. Yukio Mishima, and a very interesting person, to say the least. We don't have time to really go into it right now.
I don't know how we're going to do it. That's going to be a weird episode of Sailor Moon if we're able to do Mishima.
I don't know how we would be able to do Mishima.
We'll get there someday.
But he apparently wanted to see an alien spaceship and joined the Japan Flying Saucer Research Association, or JFSA, the year after it was founded in 1955 by Kenichi Arai, who was a UFO researcher in Japan. Arai wrote in an article that Mishima was a passionate member of the JFSA and always showed up to events with a large telescope. So he really wanted to see a UFO.
That's so interesting. I got a comic book connection.
Yeah?
I'm going to change the pitch of this show. Comparing comic books to Sailor Moon. Warren Ellis has a series called Planetary. Mm-hmm. And it is it's a 12-issue series that has its own story, but it's also a pastiche on genre fiction.
Oh.
So every issue is a new take on something. Pulp Fiction, the atomic scare horror movies of the 50s,
sure.
Vertigo comics. And in one, they go to this island. I can't remember what it's called. I'm sure it translates to Monster Island. And there is a Mishima-like figure who has like a murderous cult that goes there because they want to somehow use Godzilla and Mothra-like creatures that live on this island to do something. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I guess listeners who aren't aware, Mishima later in his life had a cult, among other things.
Oh, well,
so,
a movement.
Yeah, right. But anyways, in one of Mishima's novels, Utsukushi Hoshi, or A Beautiful Star in English, which was published in 1962, the members of a family of 4 witness a UFO and learn that they are from 4 different planets: Mars, Jupiter, Mercury, and Venus.
Whoa.
They attempt to grow the peace movement to save humanity from destruction and nuclear war, while facing a hostile group of aliens looking to annihilate the human race.
Is that why? It sounds like a good YA book, doesn't it?
Right. And this is, I mean, I mention this because it illustrates his interest, but it's also very uncharacteristic of his other books. Like, this is not like, he's not like a sci-fi guy.
Yeah, this is some Heinlein kid stuff.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting. Going back to Arai, shortly before his death in 2002, he donated most of his materials, around 3,000 various items on UFOs, to the UFO Furyaken, or the UFO Friendship Center in Fukushima, which is the only museum in Japan that is all about UFOs.
Yeah, but is this like the William Adams Society where it's 3 guys in a basement and it's like, yeah, my eyes are kind of blue. Like,
it's this like weird, like spherical building,
Is it? Oh.
Yeah.
God, I wish that we were a video show.
Yeah, I know, right? So especially noteworthy among the numerous pieces that Arai donated are the classified CIA documents.
Whoa.
Arai had acquired around 935 copies of classified documents through an American acquaintance. The UFO Furyaken opened in 1992, funded by one of the 100 million yen grants paid out to townships throughout Japan in a government bid to reinvigorate the regions. And it is located on a hill called Senganmori, known for the many UFO sightings. This pyramid-shaped Senganmori supposedly has a strong magnetic field and has rocks that look like a whale, an Easter Island moai, and other strange forms. These have led the hill to be seen as a quote-unquote power spot. And there have been a lot of sightings, UFO sightings, within 30 or 40 kilometers of the hill and Fukushima itself.
They had to cancel Furyaken this year.
Yeah, I know, right?
But they'll be back next year.
I know.
Even crazier.
I know. In 2018, the Japanese government put out a formal statement on UFOs saying, quote, "No confirmation has been made of their existence," end quote. The statement went on to say, quote, "The government has not considered in any specific manner what will be done should a UFO be spotted flying toward Japan."
Up to and possibly including the moment that we see the Emperor shaking hands with a gray on, NK TV or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
NHK?
NHK, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think the Japanese government would admit to anything. Mm-hmm. And it's weird that in America, almost like I think during World War II, or at least right after, the American government started Project Blue Book to record these sightings and analyze the data because, you got a war, you put a bunch of planes in the air, people can see something.
Yeah.
And so they had that going, but then like American civilians just started seeing things too. And it could just been more planes.
Right.
So then they started collecting that stuff, but they shut that down, I think in the 70s maybe? I can't really remember. Because it was like, okay, we're not really finding anything here. But then they kept it classified because it's the American government.
Right.
But eventually they just released it all and they're like, look, there's some stuff, but we didn't really find anything. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really telling now that with these new, they're not that new, they're from the late aughts, but these new videos of the Air Force pilots seeing stuff. And the government's like, check this out. We don't know what this is. Internet? I don't know. There you go. There's no point in classifying this. We don't know what it is. Go take it, And I think that up to the, when Klaatu comes out of the thing and is like, hey, what's up? Like the Japanese will be like, this is nothing. You see nothing.
Yeah, right. Well, so interestingly enough, they still haven't said it's anything, but earlier this month, meaning September 2020, Japan's former defense minister Taro Kano, who officially was replaced or stepped down on September 16th, 2020, provided instructions that Japan's self-defense force will put together reports, quote, if anyone spots an unidentifiable object in the air that could affect the country's defense and security, end quote. Mm-hmm. The guidelines also urge, quote, all out efforts to take photos or videos of the objects to carry out necessary analysis. So the Defense Ministry reportedly elucidated that the new instructions were issued, quote, due to an increase in the use of drones and other objects that fly differently from conventional airplanes. However, I think that it should be mentioned that Japan announced these instructions only a month after the U.S. Department of Defense put together a task force to investigate the UFO sightings following the Pentagon's release of the videos in April 2020 from 2004 and 2015.
Yeah.
So it's a little far-fetched to think that they're not related.
Yeah, I guess, but it's that same thing where it's just like, I don't know, the new secrecy is you guys do this.
Right.
Just, take some pictures. I think it's ironic because of drones, people are going to see more things. So aren't you going to get a bunch of videos of drones?
Probably. Yeah. I guess maybe it should be mentioned too that in June 2020, in Japan, a lot of people spotted something that they thought was weird. It looked like a big white weather balloon with like propellers or something underneath it. And the weather service was like, it's not ours. And, nobody in Japan was claiming it. And they're like, okay, we're going to keep our eyes on it. And they were tracking it. And then there were clouds and they lost track of it. It's like, you guys had one job.
You did.
So, yeah, take from that what you will. But that was just another instance of there have been a couple of official sightings, UFO sightings from Japan throughout the years. And a lot of, people, UFO enthusiasts have said that they've seen UFOs, certain hotspots and that sort of thing. But, yeah. If you go to the Wikipedia page and just kind of look up the official sightings that have been reported over the years, over half of them are in the United States, which I think is kind of interesting. So, yeah. Anyways.
Weird.
Yes. Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? Not a whole lot, but in Usagi's sleep, she says, quote, I can't eat another bite. Oh, anmitsu? Which is pretty great.
There's always room for anmitsu.
Yeah, right? And then Usagi, of course, finds the flyer advertising for the 80% off all sweets, which she's super excited for. And then, of course, Mamoru is a jerk and is like, if you eat nothing but sweets, you'll turn your whole body into a bun too. So yeah, pretty great. My Heart is a Kaleidoscope, where we talk about fashion and Sailor Moon. What the heck are they wearing? So no new looks this week. All the outfits that we see are repeat outfits. I did want to mention, however, that moving forward, this segment will be moving on to our Instagram feed. Since it is a very visual segment, and this is completely auditory, we kind of felt that would be a better fit for it. So please keep your eyes peeled for new fashion posts.
Yeah, it's free.
It's free.
It's on Instagram.
Yes, and you can find
at
us
Noob_Sailor.
Thank you, Cal. Villain Gauge, we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. Before we get to today's specific monster, I thought we could talk briefly about Ale and An's Cardigans, pronounced Cardigan in Japanese.
Were they going after like Pocket Monster or Cardcaptor Sakura or something with this?
I think Sailor Moon was out before Cardcaptor. I'll have to check the dates, but I think
it's close, but you're probably right. Or like Digimon or something like that.
Yeah, right.
It's because it's so toyetic. Toyetic is a word that I guess, well-meaning, but probably not. With businessmen use to go, how are we going to get some money out of these kids? Toyetic is a term that means, the ability to turn something that you see on screen into something else.
Yes.
And I'm not sure that maybe you can't market monster card games to girls, but where's my Sailor Moon Cardian app or something?
Yeah.
You collect Cardians
sure.
and you can fight with other aliens.
Have the Cardigans fight each other. Yeah, why not? I could see that. Let's get it going. Let's put a Kickstarter together or something.
I'll make some sketches.
Okay, sounds good. So all of their monsters are called Cardigans, which is a play on words on both card and guardian. The card part makes sense since they are created from cards that Ale and An have, selecting the card, and then Ale, An selects the card and Ale, plays his flute, and then the monster comes to life.
Yeah.
Although they are a nuisance to humans and other life on Earth, as they want to collect their energy, the Cardigans could be seen as guardians for Ale and An as they need this energy to live. So they're kind of helping them in a way.
Does it take energy to summon a Cardigan? So it's like, we need energy, but we got to spend it to
get it.
You got to spend it to make it.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense, right?
I don't know.
Playing that flute, spending that energy.
Thug life.
Yeah, right. So I guess going off of that, we didn't talk about this before, so I thought maybe we'd double back a little bit and talk really quickly about what Yoma means.
Yeah.
Yoma is a real Japanese word that means apparition or ghost. The word Yoma was probably selected due to Sailor Moon's connection with the Super Sentai series, and more particularly Seikai Ninja Sen Jiraiya, World Ninja War Jiraiya, the series that ran on TV Asahi, again, same channel as Sailor Moon, for the 1988-1989 season. The main enemies of the story were the Yoma Ichizoku, or the Yoma clan in English. Another possible explanation for the name is the anime titled Brave Raiden, which also aired on TV Asahi in 1975 to 1976 and featured an enemy known as Yoma Teikoku, or the Yoma Empire in English. So those are a couple of possibilities from where it came from. Vampire got her name from the English word vampire. I think that's pretty obvious. I mean, she does suck energy from her victims.
Well, she sucks.
So that all makes sense. Wow.
Also, you just said it, vampire. There's a difference between vampire and vampire. Vampire is the Serbio-Croatian word for vampire. That's where the English word comes from. Huh. Vampir or Pyr.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't come across that in my research. I guess I should have looked into that deeper.
I'm trying to think. I feel like Zoilingeller. I feel like we've seen
Yeah.
Germanic influences in the namings before.
Yes.
So somebody's mixed race on the writing team or something like
Or
that.
speaks German or something.
Is there? Yeah. Well, speaking of, operatic stories in action, like, do you feel like, I feel like we've seen Italian opera influences in the show.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Maybe we're seeing Germanic opera influences as well. Like this is, a story about a teenage girl, but it's also these epic, Gotterdammerung type battles. And
Right.
so I wouldn't be surprised if that, influences them when they're looking for names for characters and things like that.
I mean, that makes sense. I could definitely see that.
Glad you agree.
Yeah. Some trivia. Vampire was voiced by Megumi Ogata, the same voice actress who would later voice Sailor Uranus.
Who's that?
I don't know. Who is that? So maybe that's why she had a little bit more gusto, I'm saying.
Well, she was auditioning?
Or maybe they're like, get that voice actress back. She was really good. Vampires.
You can really tell with that one word.
Yeah, right?
I felt like we could do a lot with that.
Vampire's appearance. She has light purple skin, slightly darker purple hair that sticks straight up and is shaped like a fully open fan. Her hairline on her forehead goes down in the shape of a V in the middle, and she has a slight mullet going on in the back as well. She has light green squinty eyes, pointy vampire-like front teeth, pointy ears as well. She also has very muscular arms. She is wearing a light green unitard that looks furry, and the fabric extends past her shoulders and is very jagged. She also has matching light green furry leg warmers. On her right hand, she has a bright red flower, which when she is not about to use it, the petals are wrapped around each other in a cone shape. When she is about to use the flower to suck someone's energy, the 5 pointed petals unfurl and reveal 2 large orange stamens that extend and wrap around Vampire's victims, constraining them and sucking their energy. Yeah. And then also the flower turns into a mouth somehow. Yeah. So what are your takes on Vampire? What do you like or not like about Vampire?
Oh, are we doing ratings or?
Yeah, I'm ready for a rating unless you want to say anything else.
Well, you often go first, but I'll go first. That's
okay.
Fine. 2.
Yeah.
I like Vampire.
Yeah.
But you can't just see what Gigi's up to and then just yell your name at me and expect me to like you. It's early days, and I'm trying to get better about this whole thing. I'm not going to just start throwing out 5s left and right.
Yeah.
This is just Potassos in another color, right?
Yeah.
A Potassos of a different color.
Pretty much.
So yeah, I wasn't too blown away by Vampire, but I think Vampire is just a proof of concept. We're supposed to be able to see, how the cards work and they come out, and it's definitely like she doesn't like wander around or kidnap somebody or something. She gets right to it.
Yeah.
And so we see that like, okay, these guys aren't playing around,
right?
And we sort of set the stakes, but like Morga fodder.
Yeah.
Just there to be taken out.
Right.
So
exactly.
I probably couldn't go much more than 2. But, we didn't get to see all of her abilities. What that flower mouth do, though.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Yeah, I like that Vampire has a flower hand that sucks her victim's energy. But other than that, there's not really anything about her design or character that really makes her stand out. I do like her ridiculous hair, though. But I'm also giving her a 2 out of 5 dark stars. I'd like to see more from the Cardigans.
We will.
Yeah, I know.
We definitely will.
For Sabu or Dabu in the dub, Aile's name is changed to Alan, and Anne's name is Anne with 2 N's instead of just 1.
So let's talk about that. That's really what I want to talk about when it comes to Aile and Anne. Mm-hmm. That doesn't fix it.
No.
I was thinking about this. There isn't any way to fix this. I'm sort of an etymologist of a certain stripe, and there isn't any way to make this work. You know, if you had a character that was outer and the other one was space or something like that, I mean, that would work.
I think we have to say the obvious thing, right? What their names say together.
Okay, for the people in the cheap seats, their names make up the word alien.
Yeah.
In English.
Yeah.
So Japanese people are like, great. But there isn't, like, if you were talking about them, you'd say ale and an.
Right.
It doesn't
it's
work.
Not ale
unless
and.
alien has the word and in the middle.
And it doesn't.
And you would never just say, you don't say Mars Mercury, like you wouldn't say it without conjunction. So what? This just doesn't work. Somebody had this idea and they're like, guys, trust me. And I don't feel like it works. And that will be reflected in my rating at the end of the series.
Oh, that's fair.
Possibly. We'll see.
So yeah, in the original anime, Ale and An were disguised as humans, had the family name of Ginga. This gets changed to Granger in the dub.
What's Ginga mean in Japanese?
Apparently it means galaxy, which seems kind of like a red flag. Like, I understand why Umino says what he does. Like,
I take it that wouldn't be somebody's name.
I don't think that's somebody's.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily a common.
Okay, well,
name.
Keep it up.
Yeah,
Umino,
right.
Melvin.
Right. In the original, Ale's human name was Seijuro, and An's human name was Natsumi. The dub decided to have Alan and An have the same first names when they are in and out of their disguise. So I don't know if that helps or makes it more confusing. They were Alan and An.
Serena
the aliens.
Seijuro. It's a different language.
Yeah.
That is you have taken the bottom farther down.
Yep.
They're just not even trying.
Deke is not trying. No, this is Deke not trying.
I think here's my prediction. It's going to get dark for Deke this year.
Oh boy. Well, yeah, probably.
At first it was all fun. It was like, well, let's knock off at 3 p.m. Who cares? But then it starts to turn. We're going to be running smack into that, I think, this year.
You may be very right about that.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. In the dub, the scene where Artemis acts affectionately towards Luna and she slices his face with her claws is cut. The entire scene that shows Usagi standing in the hall with a bucket of water on her head because she was late for school was cut. Did they think that American audiences would find this punishment to be too extreme?
I do.
Extreme.
I do.
Yeah. All right.
What is that supposed to? That fits the crime.
Not really.
Make her come an hour early, and clap out the erasers or something like that.
Yeah, right.
The next day.
Right. Anyways, I think it's too bad that it was cut because I think it's funny. And then we also...
It's confusing, but yeah, I guess it's funny.
But then also we see Ami and Usagi have already become somewhat reacquainted with each other, which is a nice touch too. In the dub, Alan and Anne were connected with the Negaverse. They decide to come to Earth after Queen Beryl tells them about it.
Wow, they're just... Here's some cloth. Let's cut this up.
Yep. Apparently in the dub, Alan and Anne also say Beryl was banished to the Negaverse, perhaps suggesting Beryl might have survived the battle at D Point against Princess Serenity.
Yeah. You're aware of negative spoilers, right? Negative space spoilers. We talked about that. The fact that you are... The incredulous tone with which you deliver all this leads me to understand that none of it's true. But
It's not.
There you go. That's an actual spoiler because I don't know that. So going forward, I guess I won't be looking for the Negaverse or whatever. Move on to the next thing.
Anyways.
It's a process, and by number 200, we're going to have it.
All right.
Because I won't be able to be spoiled. I'll see the whole show.
In the original, Usagi asked Anne to say something in English. In the dub, that was altered to Serena asking Anne to say something in French. She then says some random syllables in French, and the rest of the class reacts the same way they do in the original. Whatever.
Is Deke even? Deke isn't even pretending that this is in Japan. That's what I love.
No, they're not. In the dub, Melvin refers to the instrument that he's playing as a flute when it is clearly a recorder in the animation.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Melvin does check this out. This is the song of my love.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Would you say that I know it's like an alien flute with like a
yes,
like a rose sort of wrapped around it.
Mm-hmm.
But would you say that that's a shakuhachi? Kind of a Zen flute?
Maybe. I don't know enough about the shakuhachi to really know what it sounds like when just hearing it, or like
It's like the Kill Bill flute.
looks like.
Pretty much.
Maybe. I don't know if it has quite the same like kind of eerie sound as that, but it does kind of have an eerie sound to it. So sure. Why not?
Okay. It's also in Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer. The
Sure. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, right. That's a good song.
It was voted the number one song in something in some poll at some time. So somebody agreed with you.
Yeah, okay. All right. Sounds good. In the original, Ale thinks, "My heart is filled with the joy and worry of wandering throughout this galaxy." In the dub, this gets changed to, "I want to see Serena again, but I don't want to hurt Anne. It's also confusing." I'm like, wow, just a way to really change it.
That's a more human motivation.
I guess.
He's like, how do I go check out this new side piece without getting in trouble for it?
Yeah, well, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
In the dub, Luna says that this evil force feels like the Negaverse. In the dub, the scene where Naru gets attacked by Vampire, it's shortened. Vampire's stamens vines wrapping around Naru is cut, as well as a shot of Naru's energy being drained. The dub decided to name the beam from Luna's head.
But her mouth doesn't move.
No, but you want to know what they named it? I don't know how it gets in the episode, but it's in the episode.
Okay.
Maybe she says, "I'm going to do..." She names it Luna Mind Meld.
I'm okay with that.
I would love to see a Luna and Spock meme of this, though. It's just kind of what I was thinking. Yeah. In the dub, when Serena gets her memories back, the images of the dead Senshi are cut.
Yeah, she sees like one thing. She sees like a giant barrel, and that's it.
Right. But that being said, the memories of Endymion Mamoru getting stabbed in the back and dying were not cut in this episode, even though they were previously cut in episode 46, or the combined
this
episode.
This is some strange premonition of the future.
Right, exactly. In the dub, the scene where Artemis is wrapped up in Vampire stamen vines is cut. In the original, the episode ends with Usagi saying, "Bye-bye, my ordinary life." In the dub, more dialogue is added, with Luna saying that she is happy that Sailor Moon is back. Serena replies, "Me too, I guess," before saying that this must mean no more shopping, going crazy over boys, etc. Then Luna says it's never stopped her before. I mean...
What a nice moment that was in the episode.
Yes!
It's a shame they had to ruin it.
That's exactly how I feel. And it just takes away from the seriousness and the weight of it, and I am not a fan.
Yeah.
So, now we are up to our rating.
Yeah.
I like the introduction of Ale and An. I like that we see how difficult of a decision it is for Luna to give Usagi her memories back. I like that Luna has a beam of light that goes from her crescent moon to the crescent moon that's hiding on Usagi's forehead.
Kinda, yeah.
Something like that.
It's under the tiara most of the time.
Right, exactly. I like that we have a moment at the end when Usagi is sad that her ordinary life is gone and how bittersweet that is. But I'm kind of ready for the Senshi to be back.
Well,
I think
it looks
so.
Like it's going to happen soon.
Yeah, so
more Luna mind melds coming.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to give this episode 3 out of 5 roses.
I hate to be cruel, but I got to give it 2.
Whoa.
It's just...
I know. I almost went there.
You know, I've complained before about info dumps. Clearly you wouldn't want to start your new season with a big info dump. But they kind of do. And there's still information that's being communicated to us. There has to be, because we're meeting the new antagonists. But then also they have to squeeze Yoma in there because that's what they do. And I don't know how you would defeat it. Maybe the cats do one on their own. I don't know. I don't know how you'd defeat a Yoma without bringing a Sailor Senshi back. But
right,
it lasted 1 episode.
I know.
It lasted 1. We're told it's 2 months, but it lasted 1 episode as far as we see.
Yes.
So it, again, maybe Deke had the right idea. It just feels like unless we really try to milk this later for, the emotional effects of her return to the fight, maybe it didn't need to happen at all, I feel like, you could just, redub it all and maybe cut the Luna Mind meld and sell it as just a Sailor Moon episode.
Right.
And not the start of something else. So, I like the new bad guys or what we've seen of them. I love the cardigan thing. It's not a cardigan. Cardigan.
Cardigan.
I love the cardigans.
Yeah, I know,
the new
right?
colors for fall.
Right.
So, those are the positive parts, but everything else, kind of bog standard monster. Naru's in trouble again. Wow.
I know.
That was the two.
Yeah. I keep thinking when you say the Cardigans, I keep thinking of the music group from the 90s with like Love Fool and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, Love Fool from the Romeo plus Juliet soundtrack in 1997. Something like
that.
And that's all anybody knows about them, but they were huge in their home country.
I have a couple of their
They have
albums.
12 albums,
Yeah.
and they're still making music, and apparently it's really good. So look up the Cardigans if you're looking for a new band.
Right.
Okay.
So my English title for this episode is Memories Reborn, Sailor Moon Restored.
Sailor Moon Restored by Mind Beam.
Yes.
From Cat.
Luna Mind Melt.
I want to see this. I want to see this scene in the live action.
Oh my gosh!
just a Luna plushie.
Yeah, right.
And then that little actress with a dumb look on her face.
Yeah, right.
It'd be like a Sailor Moon parody video.
Yeah.
I had trouble coming up with this.
Yeah.
So my Deke title is just let's go with Little Green Zen. I know it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, no, I get it.
But,
little green men,
something
little green
Japanese
Zen.
related, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That'll be. Look, I give my Deke title a 2. Okay, we've all made mistakes.
It's all good. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 48. Aito Segi Yue, Seira Senshi Futatabi in Japanese. For Love and for Justice, Sailor Guardians once again, the English translation, and the English title, So You Want to Be in Pictures.
Another event for girls that they all have to join, and hijinks ensue.
Yep. Deep breath.
I learned from last season to start early. Complain early. Because when I complain, the show gets better. So I'm registering my complaints.
Okay.
Formally.
That's totally fair.
We're just doing Sailor Moon. And this is Sailor Moon R. This isn't Sailor Moon. This is Sailor Moon R.
Yes.
Okay?
For return?
Matcha's for closers.
Yeah.
So let's step it up, show. Come on.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
This is Sailor Moon R.